Happy New Year! Here are my Stephen King predictions for 2024. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dave Musson, at Dave Musson on Instagram, and this is a place where I talk to you about all things Stephen King. And, well, it's a brand new year, so I thought I'd kick off this channel's content for 2024 with just a slightly different video just to ease us back into the swing of things now that Christmas and New Year is out of the way. I'm going to offer some of my predictions for the world of Stephen King in 2024. A big year, obviously, because it's 50 years this year since Carrie was published, and therefore 50 years since Stephen King's first novel. So I'm going to talk about a few things here. I'd love to hear your Stephen King predictions in the comments as well, so do get involved. Let me know what you think we're going to see happening over the course of 2024. And as you'll see, I'm going to cover some predictions about what I think the work we get is going to be like. I'm going to cover what news I think we're going to get. I'm going to talk about what movies and all of that kind of stuff we think we're going to get. So offer your thoughts as well. And also, at the end of this video, I might throw in a couple of ideas about where I might take this channel this year. So if you're interested enough to get that far, I'd definitely love to hear your thoughts on that. So yeah, get involved in the comments, is what I'm saying. And let's just share ideas about what we think is going to happen in 2024. A couple of quick plugs before we get started. Everything you need to know is in the description. You'll find links to my newsletter, to the Constant Writers podcast, to my Stephen King quiz book, to my fiction, and to my Letterboxd profile. If you want to check out any of those, please do. But otherwise, let's get into this. Here are some of my Stephen King predictions for 2024. So the obvious starting point is You Like It Darker, and I've already covered what we know so far when it comes to You Like It Darker, unless there's been more news released between me recording this just before Christmas and this dropping in the new year, but you can check out what we know so far already. So I thought I'd make a couple of predictions about You Like It Darker itself. And I already hinted at this in that little video I did previously, but I think You Like It Darker is going to be an absolute banger. I think it's going to be right up there with some of his best short story collections, which for me is Night Shift and Everything's Eventual. They're both 10 out of 10 collections. I reckon You Like It Darker might not necessarily be a 10, but I think it's going to be a 9 out of 10. I've just got a feeling that we're going to have some really good stuff in there. I know I've read a bunch of the stories already and I think they're good, but I think taking the collection as a whole, and particularly with the new ones, I'm just really excited. And it's been a long time since we had a Stephen King short story collection, and they're generally all pretty good anyway. But I really do think this one is going to be one of his best. I also wanted to make some predictions about some of the new stories. So I reread the synopses for these stories, and I've got a couple to throw out there. We'll see how right I am when we get the book in May. But I think The Dreamers, which is this story about the Vietnam vet who ends up taking a job and learns that some parts of the universe are best left untouched, I think that's going to have Dark Tower connections. You know, King's not been afraid to throw out some Tower connections, like in the Gwendy's trilogy. I think we're getting some in The Dreamers. I think Rattlesnakes, this sequel to Cujo, I think it's going to make us feel even sadder and more devastated about how Cujo ends. I just have a feeling like the backstory we're going to get is going to be utterly heartbreaking. And I'm really excited for that. And lastly, throwing out there, I just think The Answer Man, purely based on the synopsis, is going to be the best in the connection. I think it's going to be something that covers aging and grief and all of those things that King is really good at. And I just think that's going to be the one that sits and settles and doesn't leave you. So those are my predictions for You Like It Darker. But of course, there's plenty more to come in the year, I'm sure. Such a big year. So let's have a think of some other things where we can make some Stephen King predictions, shall we? So my second big prediction is that we are going to get a second new book in 2024. I think the fact that You Like It Darker is coming out in May just leaves so much room for the rest of the year. I think really early on in the year, it might already be announced right now by the time this video comes out, and this is pointless me saying it, but for context, I'm recording this at the end of November. I think we're going to get a second book this year. I think it's going to be a novel. I think it's going to be something we've not seen before. I don't think it's going to be another Holly Gibney story. I think it's going to be something sort of in the page count of Revival, so kind of that as opposed to that, 300 odd pages, And I think it's going to be something dark. I feel like King has been saving some dark stuff for this important 50th anniversary year. So I feel like it'll be a quick turnaround, but he's got the fan base to do that. So I reckon we'll get it announced really early in the year, and I reckon come September we're going to have another King novel. And like I say, it's not going to be Holly fracking Gibney. When it comes to Holly, though, that does play into two predictions I have when it comes to King news that I think we're going to get over the course of the year. Because I think King's going to be in the press a lot this year. 50 years since Carrie. We'll probably get some interesting talking heads, retrospectives, interviews, features, maybe even a podcast or something about Carrie. But I think King's going to be in the press a lot. There's going to be some big news drops. And I think the two big news drops we're going to get in terms of what comes after 2024, I reckon the next Holly Gibney book will get announced, and we'll probably see it in 2025. And I reckon, you know how King just seems to be in the habit of just going on a random podcast and dropping an exclusive there? I think he's going to go on someone's podcast and he is going to confirm that the third Talisman book is something he is actively working on, and maybe it has even finished, and we'll see it in 25 or 2026. Can't say I'm thrilled about that, but I think it's going to happen. Let me know what you think in the comments. So lastly, for predictions, we can't go through a year of Stephen King without talking about movies and adaptations. So some predictions from me. I think it's pretty clear we're going to get The Life of Chuck and the New Salem's Lot. We're going to get to watch them in 2024. I think The Life of Chuck is going to be really good, actually. I think it will largely get overlooked by the critics and by fans a lot, and it's going to be one that will just gather some steam of its own, probably on a streamer. Where's Flanagan gone now? Amazon. That's a shame. But it'd be nice if we get Life of Chuck out in cinemas. I can't see it, realistically. It's kind of got that Shawshank feel of it. It's like, it's not a horror story. It's got a bit of a confusing title. And how do you sell it? Like, this story in reverse of a guy who's dying? It's not the greatest hook, and yet I trust Mike Flanagan with that story. I really enjoyed the story in If It Bleeds, and I just think it's going to be a really solid, really enjoyable film that tugs at the heart and makes you feel pretty good by the end of it. When it comes to Salem's Lot, my predictions are that it's going to go direct to streamers. It's going to get terrible reviews. People are going to be telling you to avoid it at all costs, and largely it'll be forgettable, but it's going to have, I think, 2, 3, maybe 4 sequences that will be absolutely incredible and will be so good that it's not going to be something that you can just not ever get around to watching. They're going to be good enough to warrant a place in your collection somewhere. I mean, obviously it's going to go to streaming, so we can't have a physical copy, but you know what I mean. You're going to want to watch it for 2 to 3 core sequences that I think are going to offer a really original take on what we've seen from Salem's Lot before. So I have faith there's going to be a couple of good scares in what's going to be largely a shoulder shrug of a movie. We always get news on progress of projects that are in the works as well. So I think in 2024, we're going to get positive news on The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon, on Rat, and From a Buick 8. I think we're gonna see some stuff move on there. I really hope Thomas Jane is still involved with From a Buick 8 and casts himself in it. Ben Stiller has got the rights to Rat, and I just want to see that happen. And The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon, I think, isn't that happening with Lilia Marsh? Is that? No, that's Beverly Marsh. The actress who played young Bev in It, Chapter 1 and 2. I think that's going to happen. Likewise, we always get some new movies announced, and we'll probably get Holly announced. There'll probably be stories in You Like It Darker that get picked up. But actually, the one I think we're going to see, I think somebody's finally going to take a plump and acquire the rights for Rose Madder and release it in 2025 to coincide with that book's 30th anniversary. King has been talking, if you pay attention, King has been talking, dropping little hints over the last couple of years that nobody's touched Rose Madder. He seems to have come back round to it. And I think somebody will have had a light bulb moment there. And I think we're going to find out this year that Rose Madder is going to get made. Bring it on. Okay, those are my predictions. Let me know yours in the comments. And if you've made it this far, I just wanted to talk briefly about this channel for 2024. Obviously, I'm going to carry on. We've got lots of movies and adaptations to go. And I love hearing your suggestions for the book specials in the comments. So do keep sharing those. But I've got the option with this channel to set up a memberships thing here on YouTube. And if you've made it this far, you are definitely the kind of person I want your opinion on this. So please do drop me a line in the comments. Basically, if I set up a membership option for this channel, would you be interested? I'm not going to do it just as a cheap way of trying to make money. I'd want to do it in a way that adds value to you. So what I've been thinking about is, if you remember, let's say we call it $1 a month. I wouldn't set it any higher than that because frankly, that's high enough. But let's say if there was a package for $1 a month that offered you maybe early access to the usual videos, some specials that are exclusive to members. So I'm thinking, for instance, I want to read all the books in Danse Macabre, maybe do some 19 reasons to read the books in Danse Macabre and kind of do some analysis of what King says in those. Maybe even do other horror recommendations, non-King stuff. Maybe some stories of like, if you like this book, then check out this indie author. We could also go live once a month, once every other month, do some quizzes, just chat King. And who knows, other things as well. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I could read some of my stories to you. I mean, that might be a bit self-indulgent, but you get the idea. I'm thinking early access, some specials exclusive to you, and some going live stuff. I don't know. Would you pay $1 a month for that? Would you be interested enough? Or do you just want me to carry on with the free stuff? Like I said, if you've made it this far and you've watched me talk through all that, you are definitely the person who will want to know what you think of that. So that option is there. I don't want to do it if it doesn't add value. But if people are interested and we can come up with something that works for everyone, I'd love to do it. And not just because it might make me a few extra dollars. Frankly, the money is not important. I just want to give something extra to you guys. You've been such an amazing community to me over the last 3.5 years. And I know a lot of you are willing to support artists and creators. And yeah, I just want to come up with something that would make you feel like you're getting value from it. So if any of those ideas appeal, or if you've got ideas yourself for what might be a good way of making up a membership of this channel, please do let me know, because that's definitely something we could look at doing in 2024. Have a fantastic 2024. Here's to a great year of Stephen King. Let me know what you think we've got coming up on the horizon. Thank you as ever for coming back. And wow, 2024. Let's do it.